I call myself an artist now, but back then I used to be so scared of even saying I'm an artist.
Yeah.
Because it's that stigma of like back home it's one of those things like artists don't have money.
Yeah.
And I also did not want to be associated with being a broke artist, you know. But at the same time, it's like, this is what I do. Hi guys, my name is Michelle Juru, and I'm an artist, and my mediums are photography and design. I'm currently studying my master's in photography in Berlin, and yeah.
Hi guys, I'm David Lewis. I'm a fashion designer, creative director of a brand called Luini, and yeah, currently in Berlin. Also working full time at TikTok, and so yeah, let's get into it, I guess.
Do you want to share a bit of like the challenges you face like in the fashion industry, and maybe even more about your job at TikTok? That sounds interesting.
Yeah, I would say for me, it's the most difficult, obviously, like capital, because I went to uni. I didn't study fashion, obviously. I did economics and business, but fashion was like a hobby. And so when I started, I would use my pocket money, just work with some tailors in Nigeria and just like get stuff made. And then I would take it to school to sell. But obviously, I'll not make enough to like do another collection. And so yeah, so capital is like so difficult to get, and I think obviously if you cannot produce, then it's difficult to like have any substance. And so I think for me that just like made it hard to grow as fast as I wanted to. But it also just made me realize that it's a journey. You don't have to rush. And so I think for me it's like for like I started the brand in 2016, and up until now it's like been like 2-3 collections a year. And just like taking it slow and steady. But I think yeah, eventually, since last year when I started again in Berlin, it's picked off, and so now it's like there's a lot more attention, and it's like okay, like I mean the funds are coming in here and there, but we just have to kind of like see what the next stage is gonna bring. And so that's on the fashion side. I think at TikTok I do advertising for fashion brand, and that's really cool actually because now it's like as a designer you get to see like the other side of the industry, with bigger brands who want to like grow really big. And there it's just like the challenges, I would say, well, not really, it depends. And I think for me the biggest thing I face is like how to balance my time between that and my brand. You see, so I think for other creatives who have a side hustle when you also work 9 to 5, it's difficult to kind of like juggle both together. And so for me, it's like sometimes I find myself having to wake up early to do like my work for Luini before I go to office. And then when I come back, I do a couple hours before I sleep as well. And so people ask me what I do for fun, and it's just like I don't know, I can't say. I just work. So yeah, that's like the difficult thing I would say. How about you? How's it going? How's your journey going so far?
My journey, I guess, I don't know. I feel like I've been a creative, so to speak, for like my entire life, but maybe like working towards being a professional from the time I was 18.
Okay.
And so I guess it's been like 10 years of me being a creative, but it's still been like a journey of figuring myself out.
Yeah.
Because I call myself an artist now, but back then I used to be so scared of even saying I'm an artist.
Yeah.
Because it's that stigma of like back home it's one of those things like artists don't have money.
Yeah.
And I also did not want to be associated with being a broke artist, but at the same time it's like this is what I do. Like I can't be limited to just photography or animation or graphic design. It's like I just know how to create, so I decided to embrace that. So my journey has been like more of a journey of self-discovery and acceptance. And I guess I've had the safety net of kind of figuring it out in school. So like how you said you studied economics, so obviously now you're like trying to do it like outside of school, and it's still like it's a bit scarier because it's like you're figuring it out as you go, and it's like a business. It's like it's your baby.
Exactly.
Almost. Yeah.
And I think that's interesting you mentioned that because I think when I was in school, when I was doing the brand, I had this like safety net in terms of like you're not under pressure because you're just doing it because you like it, but you're also studying as well, and like obviously you could just go into a full-time job instead.
True.
But it's like when I left now, and it's like, oh wow, like okay, okay, I have a job, but if I really want the brand to come to life, I have to really work on it. If not, it's not gonna live.
Yeah.
And so it's nice to have that safety net to just try out things, and not be under too much pressure. But I think the time comes where you have to make that switch, and just go right into the deep,
Yeah, true.
And so for you right now, are you gonna say like you're more in the safety net stage where it's like you studying, and so it's like
Yeah, I think maybe I'm a bit in between because I have worked, like after I did my bachelor's, I did work for a bit as well. Even throughout my bachelor's, I was working because I had done a diploma for my bachelor's. So I think from first year, I was already employed. I was like one of those kids that are like,
I see.
But then, like, I think maybe now, even though there's the safety net of I'm in school studying this, I think maybe I'm aware of what's to come. So now it's a little more scary because this is what I've always wanted, but now it's like, I have to do it. Like, and no one's going to do it for me.
Yeah.
And no one's going to push me and be like, hey, wake up, organize a shoot, or hey, just try create something for yourself today. Now it's going to be like it's on me to do this and also pay the bills. Like, it's passion, but at the same time, it's like it's supposed to be my sustenance at the end of the day.
But would you? I guess I don't know. This is a question I'm just curious to know for you. Like, would you then? Because you just mentioned that obviously it's a passion, but you still have to pay the bills. If you have to take a job, and like after like you finish your studies, like would you be keen on that? Like even if it's like outside the creative space, just to kind of like at least have something. Because I know many creative people. I mean, when I moved to Berlin, it's like you meet a lot of people who they would not do that. They just kind of want to like hustle on what they do, and it's like, look, like I get that, like you want to do your job, like you want to do your passion every day, but life hits as well, like you have to pay bills, like you have to be financially stable, and so for me that's one thing that has like slowed down the brand because I'm having to like also work and like at least just get that stability. But I think in the long run, it helps at least just having that financial base. But is that something you're willing to?
I think I'm at a point where I want to give it my all. So back home, I don't know. Back home, it was harder for me. I think being a woman and then being a creative in Zimbabwe is just it's a tall task sometimes, and I think not a lot of women do. Maybe I feel like it's a man's industry. Like men make the industry, so obviously men know how to work it. But like when you're a woman entering that scene, it's like, whoa, like this is not how I operate. And the moment you're operating in a different way, it's like, why are you doing that? And it's not in a good way. It's like almost like a resentful way. Like we need to stop, so you won't get the work.
Yeah.
Whereas I'm hopeful that Berlin would be different, and I'll give it my all. I think maybe the corporate job for me would look like maybe working for a magazine or something. Cool. I think, and maybe I think, but still in alignment with what I want to do. So it wouldn't be completely out there. So I don't think I want to go back into animation at all. Like I think I did that. The money was good, but I was dying inside because like it's a very constructed medium in the sense that you have a strict script. Even if you don't like it, you have to do it. And for me that was like so. And also they have like I guess like a brand guide type of thing where you can't do certain things. It's like no, it's too out there. So I think I want to just try focus on photography right now. And
it's funny because as you were saying that, I was just like thinking to myself that I feel like it's so important to have like networks today.
True.
Because if I think about it, the way we started collaborating as well. True. Because I feel like, you have like a creative idea, like you want to try it out, but if you don't have people to lean on or like to kind of get you started, it's difficult.
Exactly.
So I'm just thinking, maybe one way is that if there's just more networks amongst young people, young creative people. So maybe like you might want to write that down. But I think that would just help, like just to get you started and like get opportunities as well. So that could be. Because I know for me, I was so stubborn. Like when I finished uni, I didn't want to do just any job. Like it had to be something where I would learn. And so actually, straight after uni, I went to Zalando. I had a 6-month internship at Zalando, and there I was working for female brands or women brands.
Yeah.
And I was doing consulting for them on how to market the assortment on Zalando, because Zalando is huge, you know, it's like many brands don't get visibility. And so my job was to kind of like see how can we get these brands to be more visible to like different audiences. Yeah. And that was nice because it just showed me that okay, one day if my brand gets big enough to be on Zalando, like people actually struggle to sell, you know, like you see big brands but you don't know. And so I got to learn from there. And then I moved to TikTok, and here it's like fashion brands come to us to grow on the platform. And so it's not, I'm not working for myself, but then it's like still like what I'm doing like gives me like experience, you know. And so that's a very privileged thing to say because I mean, these are two great companies, two great jobs. But yeah, I think it happens like that sometimes, you know. Like for me, like I was just focused on getting something that would, you know, help me learn. Because if I had to do something else, I would feel a bit tough, you know, and tough. Which is funny because like I did economics and business, and I was like I'm not gonna work in consulting. Like I'm not, because yeah, that was like the traditional path, you know, goes like McKinsey, Deloitte, and these guys, but. Thankfully, no.
You didn't have to go through that.
Thankfully,
But I think you're also very intentional, though, because you could have picked a 9 to 5, but like in the economy, but you were like, okay, I still like want to do fashion, I still want to be creative. So I think it's also really good, like as a creative person, to just be intentional with what you're doing.
But I struggled. Like I know, like when I was applying to jobs, I was applying to like, you know, fashion agencies, like brands. They were declining me. Like I was getting rejections left and right. I was like, yo,
what's
it was tough. No, it was tough. Because I think in Germany at least, it's like if you don't study something, even if, because I had a portfolio, you know, of like the shoots I did for my brand, sketches, you know, design the books, everything that I had done. But I think because I didn't have the degree, the certificate, they don't recognize, you know. So I had a brand to show, but it's
like
just
you
like,
don't
you
have
know,
the paperwork.
you don't have the paperwork, and so that was tough. And so I had to kind of like stick to marketing or like things that would make sense for my degree.
Okay.
Yeah, and so that was like,
okay, that's interesting.
that was like a block as well. I mean, obviously, it would make more sense if at least an internship or something just to get me in.
You said it was the rejections were hard in the beginning. I guess as someone who has gone through rejection, like applying and you know you want to do this one thing, but you're not getting the chance, I guess what was your work around that? Or what would you advise someone who's also new to Berlin or new in a new space in general, and how they...
So I actually have a very funny story. So once I was like, this was like my 5th semester, so I was gonna graduate in June, and it was Fashion Week in Berlin in January. And so obviously I'd already been applying to like these agencies, but I wasn't getting any answers, and I was getting rejected. And so I booked a train to Berlin. I was like, I'm just gonna go to Fashion Week and just give people my CVs. You know, like I was like, look, just go out there. And I mean, I went. Obviously, I was looking very good. I had a very nice outfit, and so like, so by the time I got to the venue, they just let me in. You know, it felt like I was just part of the people. You know, so literally I just walked in. I met this one guy. He worked at an agency. I can't remember the name. One of the agencies, the PR agencies, doing Fashion Week. And I was like, "Hey, like, nice to meet you. You look good." And we just had a chit chat. And I was like, "Look, I'm here. I'm a student." Blah blah. I gave him my CV. Literally folded it, put it in his pocket. And we connected on LinkedIn. But then what happened was when I now went back to Bremen, this is actually the very first interview I got. Because he actually remembered and he followed up. Yeah. So like he literally then, you know, got me through to HR, and I had an interview. But that position, I didn't get it just because they needed German. Okay. But you see, that was like the only breakthrough I had, because if you just apply on like LinkedIn on the website, automatically you're gonna get rejected. You know, so I think the biggest workaround that I discovered was literally just meeting people in the industry. You know, and that's where I spoke about networks earlier, because I feel like if you really know people, it will take you far. Actually, So for me, it's like, and it turned out this was actually the guy who was like, I don't know, on the like one of the judges or jury. You know, because it was a fashion competition. You know, for I think young designers, young German designers. You see, so top fish. You know, I didn't know.
You literally went to
I didn't
the
know.
top.
Yeah. But nice guy as well. You know, like nice to talk to me, and he actually took my CV. I think he even gave me like his own card as well to like keep in touch with him. And so yeah, I think I sent him a text after that. You know, thanks for the interview, but I didn't get it because of the German. I was like, okay, cool. Let me know if like English opportunities come up. And so for me, that was like a good lesson to learn, but also made me realize that like German could also be a blocker as well. And so I just kind of like stalled on that as well, because many of these agencies, you know, do like German brands and stuff like that. Yeah. But just like that, you never know. Maybe if I continue, maybe if I met more people and just like approached them like that and got more interviews, something could have come from it. Yeah. And so I would just say get out there, honestly. It's like you have nothing to lose, you know. Least you can do is get rejected. You can just say no, but at least you tried. Yeah. So.
Oh, that's so inspiring. Like, I'm inspired to go apply. Like, you
just have a list of events.
Yeah, I'm just like,
just show up.
Yeah, I'm showing up. Yeah.
Like, it's crazy. Awesome. So, basically, after uni, what do you think is going to come next for you?
Great question. Honestly, I want to start my own studio. Like my own photography studio.
Here in Berlin?
Yeah, here in Berlin. And also start one back home that I guess someone back home will be running, but remotely through me. Yeah. Exactly. Because there's not a lot of studios back home, but necessarily here in Berlin, because I don't think I want to move back home straight after graduation. But obviously building a studio does take time, so possibly finding some sort of internship while I'm still studying with like a gallery or a known photographer, and kind of working with them, I guess, to network as well. And like, so probably get a job. And then for Panda Studios, I do want to kind of, I guess, create like a publishing house that like African magazines. I know like print is obviously going out of like fashion now with everything online, but I think there's a work around that. But like I've envisioned like a magazine for Africans by Africans that is distributed around the world, so you do still see I guess maybe like do it online, but like you do get to see the designers, the artists, and everything, because I feel like there's not a lot of
spread the narrative.
Yeah, exactly, because I feel like when I'm like at my uni, I'm the only black person in class.
That's crazy.
And like my entire first semester, there actually was no black photographer or black artist ever mentioned. And it was almost like there's no black creators in the space. So I was just like, that's weird. I know a lot of them, you know. So I guess just to, I don't know, put Africa, it's on the map, but like to really actually place it like in the forefront of people's minds outside of Africa. Yeah.
Whoa, you thought about it, yeah? I love that.
Yeah,
I love that. I think for me, right now, I'm just in the midst of organizing the summer collection for this year.
Cool.
And then I'm also working in the winter as well. And so I think for me, it's just like, I'm trying to be more consistent on the drops.
Nice.
But I would say that the next step for the brand would be, I mean, I'm always going to have a pop-up this year, but no time, so maybe next year. But just make Berlin a hub. And just like, I think it's time to just make this city like a home base for the brand. And then from there, we're going to go to Paris and London. And so just like have that triangle. Yeah. Nice. And just like, you know, from there, just distribute merch across all around. Maybe for like the next 3 to 5 years. I don't think I'm ready to have a physical store, just because I think that comes with like a lot of responsibility as well. Obviously, me working full time is difficult. And so I was like, okay, maybe like 2 to 3 drops every year. And then next year we can go to different cities as well. And then we just see where that goes. Because I took a break because I was really focusing on now have production in Nigeria as well. Like it took me like almost a year to set that up. Insane. I had to do multiple trips back and forth just to like coordinate stuff. And so now we're producing Nigeria and China, but then depending on what I'm making, you know, I'd actually say 80% is Nigeria now, which is pretty cool. So now that's sorted, it's just time to just get the jobs out there. What I will say though is like y'all should watch out for the winter job. Yeah, I think
Oh.
that's probably gonna be my favorite today. Like,
Yeah.
I've put in quite a lot of work there.
You want to
And
take
like,
all our money?
yeah, no, it's like some exciting stuff coming. Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. Um, Perfect. So, in terms of like closing remarks, I would say, well, my key advice to anyone watching would be that if you're also like a young designer like me who's trying to break out, I would say obviously want to be patient because
Mm,
like you need to kind of have the consistency already in the drops.
mm,
And like I think yeah, because many times for me like I wanted to take a break, but then if you take a break, it's difficult for your followers or like your community to take you seriously. You see, so
mm,
even if the cash is not coming in, just be consistent with the drops, and then from there, you
mm.
never know. Like you can get opportunities to find more capital. And so, what would you say to
Cool.
young photographers?
To young photographers, I would say don't feel the fear actually. So just get rid of the fear or the insecurity or whatever is holding you back. It's actually not a good reason. It's not worth it. And just do it. Just go out and shoot. Like if you're going to take pictures of I don't know trees every day just to say you're outside, it makes a difference. So by the next time you're shooting, you know, okay, this looks good, this doesn't look good. So I think just keep practicing and share your work as well. I think sometimes fear holds us back in that we won't share our work because you're like, oh, it's not as good as. So don't compare yourself. Just share it anyway because it's your work and you should be proud of whatever you're doing. It doesn't matter if there's another photographer doing something better. It's about you and your work. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Awesome, and I think
Mm-hmm.
yeah, you can definitely get in touch with us through the link in the bio.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, this was fun. Like
Yeah.
good chat, great
Yeah.
chat.
That was really good.